What's going on, everybody? I'm Fuster King. You guys know this guy from DLS Dallas, draft extraordinaire. He doesn't give himself enough credit, so I'm going to give him credit. Jeff Cavanugh, how you doing, man?
Great. Sky Moore, any day now, baby. Any day now. Pick him up this offseason. It's going to be great. Great.
Jeff, if we let me ask you this. If I was married, if we were nailed to the cross from our draft takes, I probably would be nailed from Mozzie saying that Mozzie would be better than Jalen Carter, which some of that's just me trolling, having fun with people on Twitter. And I still think that Sky Moore was a great prospect, Jeff. Just to be honest.
Thought he was. I didn't know that he would get to the NFL and wouldn't be able to even catch a football. I didn't know that was going to happen. That was different. That was interesting. You never know. Here's the lesson in there. Telling the future is really hard.
Yeah.
Telling the future is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got to get him a better quarterback, better coach. Kansas City, they're not good enough at those two spots.
Yeah, they haven't nailed that at all. Jeff, I feel like after the heartbreaking loss versus Cincinnati, well, it depends. Like I see that face, and you're kind of like me. I'm like, Dallas really wasn't gonna do anything, but it sucks that they lost that game. But they were never gonna make a run ever. But it sucks they lost that game.
I would say it sucks for the players. I feel for the players because I know that hurts. It doesn't suck for me because I'm not in the locker room, so I don't have to feel like I lost a game. I won because I'm just trying to lose all the games. So I won. As soon as you knew that the season was over, which was when Dak got hurt, I wanted them to lose games. So, what are you going to do?
Hey, bro, you couldn't have said it better. Dak getting hurt, watching Cooper Rush play football. I caught your show the other day, and I couldn't agree more. Everything Cooper does, it just looks hard. Completions look hard. Yeah. The rollout where Mike, and I think you may be the only people in the Cowboys space who defend Mike McCarthy, and I'll keep doing it at times. There's times where he's a waffle, and I mean I didn't like his run to pass ratio, but I mean he's trying to make it as easy as possible. The rollout on the play action, it's like that's just a basic, like my 13-year-olds can make that play, and Cooper airmailed it.
A decent college quarterback can make that throw all day. They just ran for 14 yards. They hit an easy button for their quarterback with the play action rollout. The guys were wide open. He missed the throw. Whoops. I'm not going to kill him for not calling another run play. You thought that the way you'd played that game would give you some easy opportunities for your quarterback, and it did throughout the day, and you tried it again, and he missed a high school throw. Like, whoops.
He missed a high school throw, Jeff. And some of the positives though, Jeff, from that game. O-line. Let me start here, Jeff, before we get into this draft talk. Are these real dudes on the O-line? Me and Voch were on the other day, and I think he's kind of I don't know about Brock. I don't know about TJ. I'll be honest with you, Jeff. I kind of see some things that I like. Where are you at on the O-line? Because I saw positives. I saw a run game. I saw holes being opened. Where are you at?
I am going to give the most boring answer ever. I want to see him play 4 more games. I want to see a lot of Brock Hoffman. I want to see a lot of TJ Bass because I want to know if I think that that's a real life. Because I think so far Brock Hoffman's playing like a real life starter. But
yes,
is that real life or is that something that's happening for a game or two? So like, I think, I've seen things I like, especially from Hoffman, and I'm interested in seeing them keep playing. But, it's hard for me when you're like an undrafted journeyman guy to get me to buy in that like over the course of an offseason, I don't have to worry about this spot because I have so-and-so. I need to feel good about so-and-so. And right now, I'm interested.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Django, at first? Something about being interested, but now you have my attention. I'm waiting for you to really have my attention.
You were, I was curious. You piqued my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Yes.
I'm definitely interested in Brock. With Brock, he looked like such a terrible mover in the offseason. And like it was clear seeing him versus BB. And I was like, oh, okay, BB definitely moves much better. But then I'm looking at Brock move people, especially on duos and on those type of schemes. When they're running double teams, he's getting under pass, his pad level's good, and he's moving people. So I think that'll be the interesting thing with him and Bass. Now we got to talk about the tackle situation. I feel like the same thing that you just said, Jeff, about I want to see more. I want to see Terrence continue to put games together. He's actually been okay these last, what did you say, Jeff? Maybe 2 to 3 games. It hasn't killed you. And
yeah. And I think he is what he is.
Yeah.
But the best version of that can be an above average run blocker and a below average pass blocker. And if that's the worst part of your line, that could be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think he is what he is. The one that I hate everything about how this season is going is Tyler Guyton,
Yeah.
because he's healthy, he's active, and they're playing Chuma Edoga over him in a lost season. Now, hopefully they'll realize it's a lost season and they'll get Tyler Guyton out on the field, because otherwise the thing that I really worry about is, because he was a first round pick and he'll be going into year 2. I know the Cowboys.
Yes.
They are not going to spend a resource to replace a first round pick 1 year later.
Yes.
And if you're not, get his ass on the field, because you are losing so many reps where you can hopefully figure out if you need to write him off or if you need to replace him. But instead, they're acknowledging that journeyman backup Chuma Edoga is better than him. And we're not going to find out. We're not going to put him out there. And that is worst case scenario, because I think you're just going to walk into next season with a bad left tackle, because they're not going to try to replace him, but they're telling you Chuma's better than him. That's not good.
Yeah. Watching Chuma on that last rep basically get dog walked into the quarterback's lap. I mean, obviously it's Cooper Rush. So like I tweeted something. I was like, well, I know how we feel about Mike McCarthy and everything, but like when you watch Cooper play quarterback, it's hard to get an evaluation of anybody. Like, you can't evaluate Mingo. You don't know if he was worth the 4th round pick. Obviously, low hanging fruit is no, but you just don't know because it's Cooper Rush. Jalen Tolbert, is he getting open? Is he not? Is Cooper going to make a tight window throw? Hell, CeeDee Lamb's open on the last play. You can't do anything of that nature. And then, oh yeah, by the way, your tackle's getting a bull rush. Cooper doesn't fill the pocket. He just sits there, sack, game over. So that's the line. So I'm starting to turn a corner on, and this will lead us into draft talk, Jeff. I'm starting to turn a corner on Rico Dowdle. Jeff, can Rico Dowdle in a 2-back system, can he be a guy for you? I have my thoughts, but how do you feel about Dowdle in a 2-back system?
I think absolutely. I mean, okay, the company that he's keeping right now with, if you're a numbers guy, is really, 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 really good. Mm-hmm. I can't convince myself that like he's an actual like stud running back. Make sure you're getting Rico the ball 20 times a game. But I mean, I guess if he does this for another month, I'd have no choice but to change my mind. So like my thought is that the league is not going to look at Rico Dowdle and value him a bunch.
Yeah.
And so I think he could be a $4 million player for you. Yeah. And you put your $4 million running back there, and you pick, I'm just throw out a name, Travion Henderson in the 3rd round. Yeah. And now your running back room is set for 3 or 4 years. I think that's how I would do running back, is I would say, hey, Rico, 3 years, 12 million total, and we're going to pick a guy, and you're both going to get 10, 12 carries a game, and we're going to party.
Yeah. And so obviously you just go out and people want, when they see me on the screen, I think they talk, so we'll get right into it. I couldn't agree more with the thoughts of, if you're going to be in the top, Jeff Cavanaugh's picking in the top 10. Then with Overshown, and does our draft needs change? And with Overshown going down, somebody who you looked at and said, okay, him, Micah Parsons, cornerstone players, like on the way to being 2 guys that are on your defense, Overshown in the middle of your defense, and he can even be better as a drop back player, because I like him playing forward. In last week's game, he was a little out of control at times. I like him to run his feet a little bit more. He plays so fast sometimes it kind of hurts him. But 2 cornerstone players. Well, now Overshown may not see it down next year. Done. Maybe there's some positive news coming out, but I mean, we just don't know. Does that now change your thoughts? It's like, yeah, we need a weapon. Yes, we need a guy. But if James Pierce is staring at us, if Abdul Carter, who I think there's no chance, if Michael Williams, if Walker, if one of these guys, right, Jeff, are staring at you, hell, if you want to say, you know what, Malachi Starks, we don't draft safeties, but we need more defensive help, and then get our pieces, our running backs, because I just did a video, Jeff. You got Omari and Hampton. I mean, Hampton will probably go a little bit earlier. We don't know yet for sure, but he may go early. But guys like Sampson, like you just said, Devin Neal, you just brought up Henderson. I mean, Singleton, all these running backs. Long-winded answer, Jeff. I'm sorry. Does this change your philosophy when you're drafting in the top 10, which the Cowboys probably will be?
The Overshown injury,
Yes.
I think it affects me. I'm hopeful that he can get back to who he was, and I think the fact that there's no nerve damage is a big positive. But you are
Yeah.
still talking about torn ACL and then torn ACL, MCL, PCL on 2 different legs in 2 different years. I think if he gets back to the player he was, that's awesome, and I won't write off that idea. But the fact that I'm going to get nothing from him in 2025. Like
Nothing, Jeff.
if he takes the field, it'll be after, over a year of not being out there, not practicing, not getting reps, not doing real football stuff. So you're going to get nothing from him for a year. And I think you're being optimistic if you think that he's going to become the player that he's shown or better than. And I won't write him off because I think he's the sort of dude that can do it. And we can fix, you blew out ligaments. We can fix that. And in theory, he could be back. But I wouldn't build the team around the fact that, don't worry, Overshown's coming back. I would build it as if he doesn't exist. And, when and if he gets back to who he is, then that's awesome. I'll just add it on the pile. I don't mind taking another Overshown Parsons type. And if it turns out I got 3 of them, I'll figure it out. Like the little edges, the Abdul Carters of the world. Like if I had a shot at him, yeah, I'll take him in a heartbeat. And most snaps, him and Parsons are playing the edges, and Overshown's playing linebacker when he gets back. Like I think I can make it work. Yeah. I'm gonna build my team as if Overshown doesn't exist, and whatever I get from him, I think more likely in 2026 is wonderful.
I mean, because when we think about it, Eric Kendricks isn't on the roster next year.
No, their linebacker room is Damone Clark and Leah Fowl next year. That's it. That's it. And if you count Buddy Johnson, then that's it.
Oh, because Nick Vigil's not even on the roster.
No.
Yeah. See, this is. I think we're high level thinking ahead. But I mean, sign me up for Jalen Walker, a guy who could play off ball, has some rush ability. I don't like him as much as a Carter. I think that. So my evaluation of Carter and like locking in with him early, Jeff, he really does give me Micah vibes. I don't know if he's quite as explosive as Micah. Micah is just one of a kind explosive. Yeah, he's one of a kind explosive, but he gives me those vibes. But I look at a guy and Walker, Jeff, and I'm like, okay, you just lost Overshown. You literally have no backers. They're gonna have to attack linebacker in free agency, but you could go that route and still get your weapons in the second or third round. Do you feel that way, Jeff?
Yeah, and I love Walker. Like I'm scared of how much I like him because it's a unique build for a pass rusher.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you talk about muscle packed in there, and what is he like? Probably listed at 6'1", 245. I'm guessing.
You got him locked in 6'2", 245. It's interesting though, Jeff. They made him a pass rusher last year. Bro, they made him a pass rusher last year. Dane has him listed as 6'2". Pass rusher last year, off ball player this year.
And he rushed the passer plenty this year. He lined up on the edge and rushed the passer plenty. And like the difference between, like, he's one of those guys that's 245 pounds, but 245 pounds going up against offensive linemen is supposed to go a certain way. Yeah. And with him, like, that dude has adult strength. That is a powerful son of a bitch. And so I sometimes fear the tweener, but if I just go off of the notes I wrote while watching him, you'd be like, oh, that's a top 5 player in this class. And I don't think he gets picked that high, and I don't think I would pick him that high. But that's what my own notes say. The only thing holding me back is it's like, okay, but how are you going to actually use him? He's going to be an off-ball linebacker that on third downs can come down, or he's going to blitz a lot, or what is the exact plan? Because if he's an off-ball linebacker, I'm definitely not using a top 5 pick. But my notes are great on him, and so I won't change that I have him as an actual first-round player. And if you picked him at 10, I'd be like, cool. But I will acknowledge that there's a chance. Like, he's one of the guys that I put a little note at the end, like, but also I could be missing here. But I love him.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench, and I want to get your thoughts. One position that nobody's talked about in the Cowboy space is corner. And they should. And let's say they got 2, but let's say, for example, a Will Johnson falls.
Pick made.
Jeff
Pick
Cavanugh,
made.
ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's on this channel. He's
Pick
not scared.
made. And I guess now I have 3 outside guys, and so I got to figure out am I moving Bland or whatever. But no, pick made. I mean, that guy, he's fun. He's wild because his 2024 tape actually. I actually was just watching because I was looking at Josiah Stewart, their pass rusher.
Yeah, I
This
like
happens
him.
to me when I'm doing draft stuff. I'm watching one guy, and then somebody makes a play, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And so I looked up, "Who is Josiah Stewart?" And I was like, "No, he's a prospect." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." And so I started, and I'm watching him, and the first 2 or on the first drive against Washington, Will Johnson missed the first 2 tackles he had a chance to make and didn't look good doing it. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, he's not afraid to be physical. I'm just like, why? Okay, we'll teach you to tackle. But I mean, to be 6'2", 200 pounds and just the way that he moves and how easy everything movement about corner is to him, that's rare. And so he's going to be a top 10 pick just because that packaging is rare.
I'd argue with people, and I told people this, I do love Travis. I think Travis is more of an off man corner. And when we talk about Travis Hunter, I think he's more of a zone corner, break on the football, has those unique instincts. I'm not going to say that Will Johnson's a better football player than Travis Hunter. I do think there's a world where teams will value Will Johnson as a better corner than Travis Hunter. Just because of he can get in your face, he can get personal with you. You saw what he was able to do against Jeremiah Smith in the Ohio State game. I mean, he had Jeremiah Smith in hell. Some of that was Ryan Day's scheme. And as I watched those Ohio State running backs,
I hate Ohio State.
And I hate the quarterback play. So even
he's a young man, I shouldn't say that. I don't hate you personally. I watch Ohio State and I'm like, you can't win a national championship with that guy throwing.
Oh, dude, I'm watching him. I'm watching Henderson and Judkins, and I'm like, there's no way these guys shouldn't be getting swings. They shouldn't be getting schemed open, little orbit, but they don't do any of it. And I don't know. It's like, is it some of it the quarterback? Is it Day? Is it? But anyway, Will Johnson, 100%. And so I ask you this, Jeff, are you scared to draft Malachi Starks that high?
Not even a little bit. Nope, not even a little bit.
Jeff Cavanagh, ladies and gentlemen, this is why he's on this channel.
Not even a little bit. Because I assume the Cowboys are going to pick somewhere between 10 and 15, 10 and 16. And
yes.
It was actually on our mutual friends. I was watching Vach, Brian, and Dane Brugler. And
yes.
I thought Dane gave a great sentence that I'm going to use for this entire draft year. He said, you have to start everything with in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because this draft is weird. And I guess they're all weird in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Travis Hunter's a top 10 pick any year. I don't think that's necessarily true of Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, whoever your top offensive lineman is. This draft, a lot of the guys who are going to go in the top 10 don't go in the top 10 most years.
Yes.
This year, Malachi Starks can go in the top 10. That's
great. I like that, Jeff.
That sort of versatility, physicality. Yeah. Malachi Starks could absolutely be a top. You could pick him number 6 this year.
Yeah.
Because it's in this draft. You do not have Ted McMillan's a nice prospect. If he's the first wide receiver off the board, that's cool. I think a lot of years he would
be receiver 4. Just right. the foot quickness, the big body. Sometimes he does let corners get into his body. Like some of the stuff he's doing against, Wyoming, he's not going to do that in the league. But yeah, you're right.
And the first offensive tackle taken this year, I don't know who it'll be, but he would probably be the 5th offensive tackle taken last year. Like he would be behind Alt, Fashanu, Fuaga, Fatanu.
Yeah.
It's in this draft. Malachi Starks is one of the 5-ish best players in this draft. And so, yeah, you take him where you take him.
I'm going to tell you this, and I don't know if I'm breaking news to you, but I'm going to tell you this right now, Jeff. People are going to value James Pierce as a pure pass rusher over a lot of guys as well. Once they really get to the tape, once they sit him down, and once they test him and they see his arm length and they see actually he's sneaky good against the run. Tennessee's James Pierce.
I haven't watched him yet. I'm 28 guys in, and I know that Pierce is the next edge that I have to watch because I've been jumping all over the place. The A&M guys terrify me. They confuse the hell out of me. I don't know what the hell to do with them. But no, he's my next guy to watch.
Dude, when you get to him, and he has another game in the playoff, so it'll be interesting when you get to Pierce. I'll be interested to see your thoughts because Abdul has the freakish ability because he could play off ball. But Pierce has some of that true end. No, he's not gonna run around and do all of these linebacker things. But like when you're talking about just a true end, it looks good, Jeff. It looks really good. So
teams are looking for that. There's something weird about I'm kind of a linebacker, kind of a pass rusher. If there's somebody that you feel better about that's a really good pass rusher, that's a real life end sort of player, I
yes.
think that people are going to really, really like that.
Yeah. So this is my last question for you, Jeff Cavanagh, and I thank you for your time, man. I know you're watching tape. I'm texting Jeff. I'm like, Jeff. Y'all, just so y'all know, I bothered Jeff, and Jeff, he texts me back. This is my guy. This is my heart. This is one of my people.
We got crossways. I screwed up. He said 4:00, and we're in different time zones. And I'm like, yeah, or 5:00, and I'm like, yeah, 5:00, no problem. And then, but my 5:00 is not the same as his 5:00. So then I was like 15 minutes late because I was like, oh crap, that's my 4:00. Hold on, here I come.
and it's crazy because like when Jeff will tweet about a prospect, I'm like, Jeff, I don't know, but it's always good banter and it's good back and forth. And it's really so early. I think I want people to understand this. How you feel now, because I'm actually going down to the Senior Bowl, Jeff. How you feel now about prospects? Give yourself some grace. Go back, watch them, understand the why, understand different reasons why the Cowboys may not, or teams may not. Because as much as I love Genty, I probably would lead the charge, Jeff, on the Genty bandwagon.
Stud.
He's a stud. I understand the world, especially with this team now, with losing an Overshown and having some other needs on the defensive side of the ball, where they would go a different way. Jeff, let me ask you this. Are you drafting a running back in this class, in this draft? We listen, we don't judge. In this draft, we listen, we don't judge. Are you drafting a running back in the first 3 rounds, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I need to see them all because what really hurts the Cowboys is they set another 4th round pick on fire. It looks like. If I was
Jeff, don't remind me. We try to stay positive.
If I still had a pick in the top of the 4th round, I think a lot of years that's probably a really nice spot to pick a running back. But instead, Carolina is having a massive party because you took something off their hands they didn't even want, and you gave them a 4th round pick for it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, especially if Rico gets a deal somewhere else, or if they don't want to bring him back for whatever reason, then it'll be 1st or 2nd round. I think if I'm doing a mock for the Cowboys, more often than not, I would include a running back in the first 3 picks. Yes.
I agree. And Jeff, as I do my exercises in because these mock drafts are just exercises for me and just thinking outside of the box vibes. Like I saw your Emeka Ibuka tweet and I was like, yes, Jeff gets it. Great lower half, great route runner. Honestly, a better route runner than Luther Burden. It's not even close. But people love the flash and the highlights of Luther Burden, so I get it. But I'm just like, yes, Jeff is going to lead
just
that
Jackson
charge.
Smith and Jigba all over again. And
literally the same player.
And he's lighting the league on fire right now. Like, he's the same guy. It's just, I'd have to go back and check notes. Smith and Jigba might be better like after the catch with the ball in his hands. But, I mean, you want to talk about pro-ready route running, they'll line him up as an inline Y standing up because the plan is to motion him out to lead block for a screen. Like,
I wrote it down. He's the best blocking receiver in his class, bro. It's on my notes. Jeff,
he's a dog.
Like, Jeff, let's go run it. Let's go run a team, Jeff. We yes. Awesome, bro. But Jeff, you know what's so crazy? Brian Hartline. I've actually went to one of his coaching clinics. Brian Hartline, he's like the receiver guru at Ohio State. So those guys, Jeremiah Smith from down in Miami, Jackson Smith and Jigba, all those receiver, like they're literally coming receiver you because Hartline knows what he's looking for in receivers. And so, yeah, I completely agree. Now, last question, Jeff. So in the first 3 rounds, because again, it's going to be one of those types of draft because you've messed up in the 4th round. Do you go receiver or because I think we look at receiver and it says, this is early on too, Jeff. We think we need a receiver. The fun in us wants a receiver. The meat and potatoes and your parents want you to draft D-tackle, want you to draft a linebacker, want you to draft a corner, want you to draft the smart things. Do we need a receiver? And then I'll let you go, Jeff.
I think they desperately need a receiver.
Wow.
Desperately need a receiver. And it might be one of those things I'll have to check. I'm not familiar with what free agency looks like this offseason right this moment. Yeah. But I mean, I think that if you're going to go line up with CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Mingo, and Jalen Tolbert, you're awful.
2025 will be bad again. It'll be like this.
I think they don't need just like a 5th round receiver. I have no interest in. Like, I have no interest in just throwing another guy into the mix with Tolbert and Flournoy and Mingo. They need a guy. Mm-hmm. And if that's a 30-year-old NFL vet who's a number, like if that's trading a 5th round pick, whatever it is, they need a guy. Yeah. And because of that, it might make it more likely that you try to find them in a different way, free agency or draft. Yeah. Or free agency or trade. But no, I think they desperately need a wide receiver, and not just any wide receiver. They need a real life 800 to 1,000 yard wide receiver. I think that's one of their top 3 needs.
Yeah.
I think your offense is in deep doo-doo if you don't get somebody else that can, like, literally all I'm asking of my next best receiver is, can you get open against man coverage? One guy? Can you beat one guy? Because I don't have anybody on this team not named CeeDee that can do it.
No, not consistently. Not consistently. Love Tolbert, but it's over for that for me. No more training camp highlights and no, it's over for that.
Where's Jalen Cropper? It's Cropper time, baby.
Yeah, great camp. Let's bring Cropper.
I loved Cropper. I wanted him to play.
Jeff, I love the notion, and you started this early on where there was a path, and you were very realistic about what this year would be, and there was a path for this Cowboys team to be good in 2025. And I like how you've kind of you've been staying with that notion throughout the draft content and throughout the way that you're talking. So I appreciate that part of it, Jeff. I think the biggest thing for me in closing, right, is there is a way for this team to be good again. And I think that some Cowboys, I'm Mr. Positive. That's just how I live.
Well, it doesn't take much. The answer, they will be good again if they try. If the Cowboys do what it looks like they should do, because everybody restructures their big contracts of their star players to get cap space, they should have $80 to $100 million to spend, and they know their needs. Mm-hmm. And you've cleared almost all of your dead money, bad contract stuff. Most of it's off the books, and that was the point of this year. Mm-hmm. So you sign a starting caliber defensive tackle, a starting caliber linebacker, a starting caliber wide receiver. You go draft, and you will be good again. And I probably skipped some because I just ripped that off the top of my head. Maybe a top 6 offensive lineman for your team. Bring Rico back, keep Osa, keep Jordan Lewis. Like, I'm sure that's a whole show. But yeah, the path to the Cowboys being good again is easy. Yeah, unless Dak's body is breaking down. But you have a franchise quarterback. You have one of the best pass rushers on the planet. You have one of the best receivers on the planet. You have a perennial All-Pro offensive lineman. You have 2 really good starting corners. That's easy to be good again. It's easy. All you got to do is not suck on purpose like Jerry did this year.
Jeff Cavanugh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, Jeff. I'm going to be bringing you back throughout this whole circle, throughout this whole draft cycle. We're going to take our time this year, Jeff, and I don't want people to jump off the ledge if they don't draft Genty or if they don't draft their favorite running back, because I tell you, this class goes about 17 deep of guys. I just did my ranking video on the running back class, and it's crazy, Jeff. So we need a running back, yes, and I do think that you need to pair somebody with Rico, but I'm now shifting my thought a little bit, Jeff. It's like, listen, this team has bigger holes that with Overshown going down, you don't know what's going to be the deal with that. Jeff just told you guys, and I agree, and I've been screaming this, need a real weapon. Got to have another real weapon. You could go O-line. I don't know if I would do that, but that's a possibility. If Will Campbell's sitting there, it's hard to draft away from him.
That's not my guy. We can fight about that later. I'm taking Kelvin Banks.
Yes.
And I think he could play NFL tackle, no problem. But I'm putting him at right guard, and I'm sending him to the Hall of Fame.
And then who you putting at right tackle, Jeff?
Terrence Steele. Listen, that's the thing. We can't fix everything in one day, okay? We can't fix everything in a day.
No, I get it, Jeff. Hey, guys, this video is brought to you guys by BetUS. All your betting needs. Thank you, BetUS, for sponsoring this channel. NBA, NFL, What else is on, Jeff? Soccer, anything you can bet on. Baseball.
Hockey.
I wish hockey's on.
Go
right
get you
now,
some
Jeff.
hockey.
Go get you some hockey. Play your hockey plays. How many's gonna the score? I don't know. The over, the under. You guys let me know. As always, it's your boy Foots the King. Thank you so much, Jeff Cavanugh. Peace.
Love you, Foots.
Love you too, brother.